good, y'all? It's your boy JusB, and welcome to the JusB Show. Yo, happy Monday, man. I hope everybody is feeling super motivated today because, man, it's the beginning, it's the start of the week. You feel me? If you can start off your week with motivation, by the time you get to the end of the week, you should still be able to carry on that motivation. Today, though, I'm so excited, man. I get to interview a celebrity chef, yo. A celebrity chef? Like, come on. You can't beat that, man. You can't beat that. So I'm here to introduce my boy all the way from Baltimore, Maryland, by way of LA. And now he's in the desert with your boy in Las Vegas, y'all. Chef Stu, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine, bro. Thank you for that intro. Thank you for that intro.
Yeah, man. What
I
the kids
appreciate it.
nowadays say, we gotta
I
gas
always
each
gotta
other
shout the
up.
hometown out, man.
That's what's
Nah,
up,
it's
man.
all good. I always like to shout the hometown out, though.
Yeah. I feel you. So how you doing today, man? What you up to today?
I'm chilling, man. A typical day in my life, trying to lock in some catering gigs and do my media runs, and you know what I'm saying, just balancing it out a little bit.
That's
Working
what's
hard
up.
behind the scenes, trying to make some stuff happen with the whole COVID thing.
Yes, sir. That's what's up, man. So the way we like to start the show, man, I'm sure you already know it's an interview. It's an interview. So we ask a few questions. I
Okay.
got 8 to 10 questions for you. Simple, you know. You can choose not to answer the questions, but like I tell everybody, if you don't answer the questions, we don't exactly got a show. You see what I'm saying? So just do me a
I'm
favor,
with you.
brother, and start off with just telling the audience just a little bit about Chef Stu. Yeah, man, just give them the insight about who you are, brother.
All right, so my name is Robert Stewart, aka Chef Stew. As mentioned in the intro, I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. Traveled the world in pursuit of becoming one of the top chefs in the world. Currently living in Las Vegas, Nevada. President of Transition Kitchen Foundation, restaurant owner at Stew Sticks, and hot, cool. I mean, I'm a pretty cool dude, man. You know what I'm saying? I think so, at least.
Yeah. I think so too, man. Look, you know what got me? Yo, big.
What's
Let me
that?
say this. Big shout out to Shantae Gibson, Queen G Live Experience, man. She was one of the people that was able to make this interview happen. As soon as I read your bio and it said you're a vibrant person, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna be a dynamic duo for show
Yeah,
on
no,
this
I
interview.
want.
I had to get you.
Yeah, I definitely, and I definitely want to send my love to Shanta as well. Had an opportunity to meet her in Chicago on a project called Ebonize Me, coming soon on Roku TV. And so it was just a cool thing, man. We got a chance to vibe, and I cooked that day, so she actually got to taste one of my signature burgers. And I did a video. I don't know if I see the video, burger. So, Shanta, I love you. Thank you for everything. And like I said, your reputation always goes before you. And so it's a good thing that she's making sure she spreads the right reputation of Chef Stu.
Yes, that's beautiful. Make sure y'all go follow our homegirl, our sister, our queen, Shanta Gibson, y'all. Queen G Live Experience. She's amazing. She's super vibrant. And you cannot deny her smile. I'm in love with her smile, man. You got one of them smiles
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
brother. I love it in you. I
I
love it
know.
in you.
I do. I'm trying. Listen. So if anybody got the plug on Colgate Crest, let me know, man. If anybody got the plug for Colgate or Crest, I am looking to get a commercial real soon, man, showing off all 32 of these teeth.
Yeah. Make sure y'all show the man some love, man. So, man, let's just get right into the interview. If you ready, I'm ready. Let's get it. So
I'm
let's
ready.
start
Let's
here,
go.
man. At what moment, brother? At what moment did you decide I want to be a chef?
Great question. I never, well, I did have that moment eventually, but it's magical how it truly works because initially growing up, that wasn't even the idea. I cooked growing up as a necessity, as a survival thing. Unfortunately, I always got to mention the sad truth that my father passed away when I was 12 years old, and so that definitely put a little damper in the household. And so at that time, I had a younger brother, and so my mother used to work nights, and so we used to get out of school, I think about 2:30, and my mother used to be to work at 3 o'clock. So we passed each other in transit. We would be on our way home, she would be on her way to work. So if she had to be to work at 3 o'clock, chances is if she did make dinner for us, she cooked that who knows exactly what time, but it had to have been before 3. And then so we get home, come on, let's keep it real. Your mother's at work, so you ain't gotta really do much, you know what I'm saying? So we could run free a little bit in the house. And so that's what really started the whole cooking thing, because once we really did want to eat dinner, say 6, 7 o'clock or whatever, now we realize that, wait a minute, this food been sitting over here for the last couple of hours. And so it didn't look so appealing. And then I don't know about your household, but in the household I came up in, when you make a complaint about something, you better be ready to put in some action.
For real.
So we like, man, we don't want this, it been sitting over there and what the hell. And so she was like, cool, no problem. Robert, you the oldest, you cook. And so that's how it really truly started, man. It was like I kind of got bamboozled into becoming a cook because we complained about what she was leaving us out for dinner. And so from there, it just kind of became a natural thing, you know what I'm saying? And so on the flip side of it, I come from a really big family on my mother's side, 13 aunts and uncles. God rest my grandmother's soul. But she's the one who actually taught me how to cook, actually, because we grew up. I'm originally from Baltimore, but as we were growing up as kids, my mother ended up moving us to the county, and so like the surrounding areas of Baltimore City. But we would go back into the city every weekend. We would go get our hair cut. We would go to church. We would go hang out with other family members, but we stayed at our grandmother's house throughout the weekend. And so by my grandmother having 13 kids and those kids having kids, um, she just was like, to me, before I even knew it, she really was the real definition of a short order cook. You know what I'm saying? Because how I was back in the day. Grandma look at you and say, you look hungry, sit down. You know what I'm saying?
Sit your butt down.
Exactly. And so, but my grandmother cooking around the clock, I mean, every time somebody walked through the door, she jumped up, she started cooking. And so I loved it, man. Saturdays, Sundays was like the best for me ever, because that was the real experience of 3 meals a day, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, sometimes a snack, and it was always something different. And so that really helped me, because again, like I said, we didn't live there, so we would go back to our house, and come Monday night is my time to shine again back in the kitchen. And so I would call my grandmother and just kind of just get her to coach me through some of the stuff that I had watched her cook over the weekend. And
Nice.
This was before they had camera phones, man. This is even before we even had a cordless phone. I used to be like, I could only go so close to the stove because the cord wasn't that long.
The cord too short.
And I would be like, the cord is too short. I'm like, Grandma, how do you fry chicken? And she'd stay on the phone with me. She'd be like, put some grease in there, and I'd be trying to tell her the measurement, and she'd be like, she kind of just stayed on the phone with me to make sure we ain't burn the house down. And so like that's how it really started. And so then it kind of backfired again, because I started to like what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then my brother, I always think about him on the Mikey, Give It to Mikey's Kicks commercial. You know what I'm saying? Give it to Mikey, he'll eat it. It was the same thing with him. You know what I'm saying? It was like we was cooking stuff, and I would give it to him. He would love it. And then so my mother would call and check on us, from work on break, and be like, what y'all eat? And I'd be like, he'd be like, man, Robert just fried some chicken, and he made some macaroni and cheese, and he made hamburgers. And so at that point, my mother just retired. She's like, oh, okay, cool. So that's how y'all plan it? Cool. You know what I'm saying? That's how you want to do it. And so from there, man, I really became like the real cook of the house.
Nice.
All throughout. And this started like age 12. And so I think I was probably like about the 6th grade. So, by the time I ended up going to high school, I actually went to a Blue Ribbon, one of those vocational technical type schools.
Okay.
And so they had a culinary arts program. And so like by that point, I didn't even think of it more so as like this gonna be my career as I go older. But it was just like, you know what? I kind of already know how to do this. You know what I'm saying? I kind of got some experience with this. So let me go to this school and take the culinary arts program. And so from there,
Nice.
I, will go on to graduate with restaurant management and, certification in cooking and stuff like that. So, yeah, so that's kind of how it started. But the truth of it is, after I graduated, I actually was burnt out. this had been going on for years, from age 12 all the way up to like 18, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like,
I didn't cook for the whole family.
yeah, I'm cool, man. Like, you know what? I am cool on all of this. I'm gonna try to find some other stuff to do. And so I started working a lot of regular jobs. I mean, direct TV and stock boy at JC Penney's. I mean, just
Right.
any type job that I could really get my hands on. And then so fast forward, I would say years later, after working a bunch of odd jobs and just really not really making no real money in the job world, it just started to like dawn on me that I had to kind of hone in on a real career versus just a job that was going to pay the phone bill. And
Right.
I had to do what most people don't do, and that's just be real with yourself sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know how it
And
is.
I just look at you know what I'm saying? Like really had that real talk to yourself. Like, look, you know what I'm saying? I do this good. I don't do this so well. I do this good. And so like I really wrote down what I felt was like the positive qualities of myself, being as though things that people might have told me, and then
Right.
things that I just might have noticed about myself versus the things that, you know what I'm saying, I might have wanted to work on or things I needed to enhance. And
Right.
so sad but true, when I really wrote the whole list, I mean, I wrote funny and love money and well spoken and like to stay clean cut. Like, I mean,
That
honestly,
that
like I had to
sound like
write
my
that
list, brother.
right. Some of them qualities I didn't really think like, how's this gonna help you get a career? You know what I mean?
Right.
But after I did that, man, the funniest thing is like it just kind of like hit me a little bit. I had went through a breakup, you know what I'm saying? I went through a foreclosed home, repossessed car. And so like when I wrote this list, my life was already in shambles. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man.
And so and I'm like really looking at the man in the mirror to see what part I played in this and then what just happened just out my control, right? And so with that whole thing, I ended up moving back to Baltimore
Okay.
and I got a job at a restaurant, a place called Chicken Roost Deli in Annapolis, Maryland. It's like a landmark spot, been in business for over 55 years.
Whew.
And when I got the job, I literally interviewed with the owner of the place. And so I'm selling myself like a cheap suit and cheap cologne. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, I went to this culinary school, and yeah, I went to college for business management, motivational speaking. I'm educated, I'm well spoken, I'm organized, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. And so it was just like, you know what, great, yeah, you start tomorrow, right? So he gave me the job as a line cook. Now, mind you, I had been out of the kitchen like for almost about some on a commercial tip for give or take 6 or 7 years. I still was
Ooh.
cooking in the house. Like the people that knew me always knew like Robert can cook. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I jumped onto the line and I got circles ran around me every single day. I couldn't believe how rusty I was. It was so hard, man. But I just like it just hit me. And I just realized, like, you know what? Damn, I should have never stopped doing this. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
after about 2 or 3 weeks, it came to me, it came back, everything came back. I remembered all the terminology. I remembered all of the safety mechanisms and just, the whole flow of it. And I'm a real people's person. So it was like, this is kind of cool. It's like you constantly dealing with different people. And so
Yep.
I start cooking on the line. And then he was like, you know what, if you want to be a waiter, you can do it. You can be a waiter too. So I was just like, you know what, cool. Like, so some days he would have me come in and I was the cook. Some days he would have me come in and I was the waiter. And so that is when I realistically said, you know what, that moment, I always like to call it like a divine appointment because I had met one of my closest friends at the time at the establishment. And, we just was talking about life and different things. And I just was like, you know what, I kind of think I found my purpose. Like, and it's kind of like hit me because I had to tell a story in that way because I don't want to get nobody discouraged to think that, you know what, I attained this success because I eat, sleep, and breathe food all day long. Like, not really, honestly. Like, it was one of those things where food was my last choice. I wanted to be in the
It was
NBA
one of
like
them.
everybody else. Yeah, it was like one of the things like, you know what? You big dummy, like Fred Sanford used to say, you should
Right.
have been doing this. And it was like, you know what? From this moment, I'm not going to let up on it. I'm going to stick to this. And everything that I do is going to have to be around the culinary arts industry. And so I realized that, you know what, I don't really want to cook every day. I don't mind talking to people every day, tying in the business aspect of it. I said, you know what, I really just want to be a restaurant owner. So maybe I went through everything that I went through to find myself back into that. So I'm hoping that somebody that's listening may have given up on something that you thought was behind you. I'd
Yeah.
be the first one to tell you, I had to go back into the closet, man,
Yeah.
and dust off the trophy and get back to something that I already knew that I knew how to do instead of trying to keep figuring it out and starting fresh with something else. I went with
Yes.
what I knew. And
Yes.
from that, I ended up leaving that restaurant, the Chicken Roost Deli, and that's when I really went on my restaurant pursuit, man. From that point forward, it's never been nothing else for me but food.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
kind of how that happened.
Sweet. So look, man, as you know, Shantae taught me to stalk my prey. She
I got
said,
you. I got
yeah,
you.
she said, when you about to do an interview, you got to go and stalk their page. So it's one particular quote and specifically that caught my attention that you wrote, man, or that was on your bio. It says, "For it was by design that I would walk through these doors before I could walk on my own." What does that mean to you?
Bro, so and that touched me honestly, because that just hear you say that is crazy. But everybody think we got connection to the higher power, right? Like we really want to, like, can you do something slick, like, just do something so I know. You know what I mean? It's almost like knowing somebody's in the house and you just want them to give you a sign that they in the house, but they won't give it
Yes.
to you. And so I'm full of my imagination and my creativity is like one of my strongest qualities. Like I'm the type of person who believes almost anything can happen, right? And so it's a book called Think and Grow Rich. And one of the quotes in the book is,
Yes.
it says that your greatest success moment only comes after your biggest disappointment. And that's proved so true in my life repeatedly. It's crazy. It's almost like sometimes it's just like I almost expect things to go wrong. And when it do, it kind of fuels my fire, because I understand that this is like, it looks bad to me, but somebody else looking at this sees something else. And so I had got the whole vision of the restaurant, and I'm feeling like super confident, not cocky, but confident. I had already grew up cooking. I already had certifications. I already went to college for business. I already fumbled around for a couple of years in some other career choices that had nothing to do with it. And then I feel like I'm walking back into my purpose. And I'm telling you, at this point, the universe was yielding. Everything that I breathed on worked. I was like, you know what? I need restaurant experience, management experience. 2 days later, I get a phone call. Hey, we looked at your application. We want you to come manage the restaurant. Like, all right, great. I mean,
Wow.
everything was working for me. So I found the restaurant inside of Atlanta. It was
Nice.
ready to go, equipped, everything that you needed. And so it's called a turnkey restaurant. So at that point, I was like, God, yeah, thank you. We rolling. You know what I'm saying? We about to get this restaurant. Then like I knew it. Now, mind you, there was a lot of people who felt like, restaurant, come on, boy, get back realistic. You ain't got that type of money. Yeah, you cook for a little bit. That's a different world. So it was not a lot of positive support when I wanted to go this route. So long story short, I ended up going after the restaurant, had some investors ready to go. And again, it just last second, like poof, the investors backed out. It was a big deal. Honestly, to be honest with you, I was out my mind trying to get that place because the rent was like $25,000 a month. I still was like, yeah, no problem. We can make
Ooh.
$4,000 a day in 60 days, and you know what I mean? I just had all the answers, right? And so when that lady said no to the investment, and I realized that I wasn't getting that restaurant, it was one thing that I did do, which was set up with a lot of staffing agencies, because I'm not originally from Atlanta. So when I went to Atlanta to try to get the establishment, they wanted to know, well, where will you get your staff from? And so I said, well, I've registered with 4 staffing agencies already. And the staffing agencies can send over people. I let the people work a certain amount of hours. And then if I like the people, I can actually keep the people that I feel like are strong. And then I
Right.
can build the staff that way. And so they was like, yeah, that's a good way to do your staff. But what ended up really happening was the fact that once the restaurant fell through, I got all these staffing agencies calling my phone every day. Robert, when you going to need the people? I'm saying,
You're like, oh man.
never. actually, I don't need them anymore. Do y'all need me? You know what I'm saying? And so the owner of that establishment, or the manager or whatever he was, he was kind of baffled. He was like, damn, like, you ain't get the restaurant? I said, no. And he said, so what you gonna do now? I said, well, listen, probably gotta go back to work, because I literally wasn't even working at the time. Like, I was working on trying to get the money and set the restaurant up, so I didn't have a job. And so he ended up telling me about the staffing agencies that, some clients that he had. I knew about the staffing agency, but I never inquired about, like, who else do y'all work for? Who else do y'all work with? Or none of that. So when the deal went up in smoke, he literally was like, well, hey, if you want, I can start sending you out to different locations, and you can start working like that. Okay. And bro, I tell you, that's where that quote came from, because this all happened like the same day. Like, the lady said no. I cried for about an hour, and then, like, after I got on the phone with them, they called me and said, well, listen, we got an assignment for you tomorrow, 9:00. Be at the Sheraton Gateway, downtown Atlanta. And so I walked into to that establishment, and the chef of the place, he was like, can you make this? And I was like, nah, I don't really know how to do that. He was like, well, can you do this? And I was like, nah, I don't know how to do that neither. Then he asked me, could I do something else? He was like, well, what about this? Can you do this? I said, is this a game show? Because no, I don't know how to do that neither. And so he just laughed a little bit, and he said, well, when you walked in here, you told me that you had cooking experience and you was doing all this. And I said, well, yeah, I do. He said, don't do that no more, because when you do that, you're going to make people think that you know stuff. And then the first thing that you don't know how to do, you're going to lose your credibility. So as you move forward in this journey, you always walk into the establishment and say, hey, listen, I forgot everything that I knew prior to coming here. What do you need me to do? Show me how to do it, and I can run with it. So he taught me how to conduct myself as like a potential chef. And so they sent me to that Sheraton. I worked over there. Now, most people hate staffing agencies because it's inconsistent work. We need you on Monday. Yes. We don't want to see you again. I loved it because it was like I didn't have to apply for these places. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just got phone calls and say, Robert, tomorrow, Sheraton, 3 days. Friday, when you're done with that, Marriott, 2 days. And so what I ended up doing was, like, that's where the quote came from, because I started to realize, like, even though that door got shut in my face and I didn't have time to explain it to everybody, that basically I just came off of a restaurant deal going up in smoke. But I felt like this was the universe's way to say, hey, stay encouraged. And now I'm going to show you what you didn't know. And so they sent me all these places. And so, like, I was so spiritually in tune with the journey that I documented everything. I kept every pay stub. I kept shirts, you know what I'm saying, a chef jacket. So when I worked at McDonald's, when it was time to go to a different establishment, I kept the McDonald's shirt. I kept the pay stub. KFC, Taco Bell, Clark Atlanta, Spelman, hospitals, nursing homes. And I just kept making little collages, and I would just keep reminding myself of, like, damn, you know what? Each place obviously was teaching me stuff that I didn't even know. I got paid the whole time, even though the checks wasn't big checks. We talking $9 an hour, $7 an hour. But, like, I was the happiest employee in the whole establishment. Everybody else was like, man, this is crap. They only need us 3 days. I'm like, I don't care. Thank you. These 3 days was the best 3 days of my life. And so that's where I ended up kind of putting together something called Becoming Chef Stew. And so eventually what I did was I did like a little video, and I just showed people the collages and the pay stubs so that people could get an understanding of the journey that Chef Stew went through. Each chef definitely has their so-called story to the top and story of success. And so a lot of people got familiar with me when I started to rub shoulders and cook for celebrities. But, like, I didn't even want the story to start there, because it was honestly like, if I wasn't confident in what I was doing, if I wasn't skilled in what I was doing, if I wasn't, like, knowledgeable about a lot of the stuff that goes along in the industry, then there is no celebrities, there is no television, there is none of those other things that came after the fact. So that's really my true story. And I'm glad you touched on that, because I know we started with the celebrity chef thing, but I'm still trying to speak some encouragement and some inspiration to people who really probably aren't even chefs, but especially the chefs that who would have thought that working at McDonald's gives you the management skills that you need? Who would have thought that working at, Chicken Roost Deli, cutting pickles with, adding to me becoming a celebrity chef. So that's really a key thing to remember. Document the journey and realize that all of this stuff could be leading up to a much, much bigger picture. So just be grateful of all of it. And now, to be honest with you, I had to and I didn't. Well, they try to tell you, I'm still realistic and I still make, I kind of do things that most people say you shouldn't do. But like I had to be like, aha, to like all of the people, when I was at McDonald's and I was like, oh no, this ain't my last stop. They like, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't gonna do whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so when it all tied in, it just was like, damn, you know what? He was right. You know what I'm saying? Like this really did lead him to somewhere else.
That's dope, man. Hey, so that was inspiring, bro. I had to just let you tell that whole story. That's super inspiring, and I appreciate that, man. You feel me? All the viewers, yo, you heard them. Don't ever think that just because you got to go through one door before you get to that big door. Just do it. Do what you got to do to make it through it. You feel me? Grow through it. Go through the process to get to the goal. I promise you, like Chef Stu and myself always says, man, you got to get to it no matter what, man. Speaking of being a celebrity chef, especially on that let's talk about it.
Right.
Let's talk about it, man. When you first realized, that moment when you realized, man, I'm a celebrity chef. Hashtag Chef Stu. How did that feel in the moment, brother?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I just really digested it, to be honest with you. And I've been doing it for a long time because I haven't separated myself from the goal. Like, like in the music world, you got the persona and you know what I'm saying? You got that whole characteristic, that whole imagery type thing that comes along with it. And it's like, I never looked at it like that. I just looked at it like, I want a restaurant. This is just what happened. I'm still, just regular old me, right? But it really dawned on me because everybody else around me, they amplified it. And I still was like, the regular guy say, hey, let's catch the train. No, you're a celebrity chef. You shouldn't be catching the train. I'm like,
right.
Hey, let's go to Burger King. What? Burger King? You're a celebrity chef. You're still in Burger King? What the hell? I'm like, yo, let's go. You know what I'm saying? You want to stay at the Ritz-Carlton? Like, no, I'm cool. Best Western is fine. You know what I mean? Like, so there was things that I did that I guess just didn't go with what people perceived it to be.
Right.
And I love that about myself because I felt that I was being authentic and I was being down to earth and I wasn't alienating myself and I wasn't making you feel bad for where you stood at in your journey. But it all started a couple of years ago in Atlanta. Atlanta is where I really truly became, quote unquote, the celebrity chef. And it really hit me when in one of those stories, one of those places, out of all the places I worked, one of them was Turner Broadcasting. Okay. And so I used to work at Turner Broadcasting, which is where food and TV, celebrity, all in the same building. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, wait a minute. And then I'm already paying attention to everywhere he sends me. So it's like, okay, you want me to go here? You want me to learn this. You want me to go over there? Okay, you must want me to learn that. So when I went to Turner Broadcasting, it took me a while to realize it, but I'm like, wait a minute, I'm cooking for all the TV people in Atlanta. Cartoon Network, Turner Classic Movies, just all of that. And so Shaquille O'Neal had a show over there inside the NBA, TNT. And so I got a chance to cook Shaq some lunch one time. David Banner was over there. He was doing a show. I don't remember what show he was doing, guest appearance, but I had a chance to make David Banner some lunch. And then Tracy Ellis Ross and Uncle Jamal Warner was doing a show called Read Between the Lines. And so towards the end of the show, I became the chef of the show. And so I kind of would cook them breakfast every morning. And so I didn't get a picture from Tracy Ellis Ross or Malcolm Jamal Warner. Didn't really want to get in no trouble at that point. But I did ask Shaq and I did ask David Banner, could I take pictures with them? Because as you know, I was trying to document the journey to showcase everything that happened in it, to have, because I knew I was going to tell this story at some point. And so when I took the picture with Shaq and David Banner, threw it up on Facebook, and like that's when the whole Atlanta was like, oh my goodness, because everybody in Atlanta knew me. They was like,
Right.
that's the guy we see one day with a McDonald's shirt on. The next day we see him, he got on a tuxedo. And so like that's where the celebrity chef thing came in at. But financially, I was still struggling to make ends meet. So I'm like, who's the celebrity? Me? Well then wait a minute, like what
Tell it
celebrity
like
you
it
know
is,
can't
brother.
pay
Tell it like
rent?
it
What
is.
celebrity you know can't pay his rent? What celebrity you know really still don't have a car that he wants, right? And so I never really looked at it like that. But what ended up happening was some people in Atlanta seen the pages, they seen the journey, and they said, "Man, you need to be on TV. Like
Right.
you ready for TV." And so we ended up shooting a show called Table Scraps TV. It was like a little webisode that we shot in the comfort of my own home. We shot about 7 or 8 episodes of that show, and the first guest on the show was Demetria McKinley and Jasmine Guy. Now, so this is when things really start to take a turn for me because, like I said, the show was actually filmed in my house. So now they went from me cooking for these people at other establishments to them actually coming to my house. And we filming them in my house. I'm cooking for them. Ended up doing another show called Industry Soup with Chef Stu. And that's where I ended up cooking for Lunel, was a guest. That's how I met Lunel. Michael Kiefer 112, Darren
Nice.
Henson, Mike Canahan Stills, Raindrop Lopez,
Woo.
Shamari, and Brandy from Black. So we shot about 7 to 8 episodes of that show. So I had Atlanta on fire at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody in the music industry, everybody just was in the acting, there's different things. It was like it was so different because everybody was either a basketball player or a rapper. And so it's kind of like, nah, Stu, he's the chef. He just wants to be the chef. So it's like that's what really kind of opened up the door for it. And then from there, Food Network got a little hold of my story. They started to give me some casting opportunities. And eventually, to kind of keep the journey going, I eventually decided it was best to leave Atlanta and go to California and really pursue my dream as a chef and really get the notoriety as a chef and bring some real awareness to this whole chef movement so that I could inspire, countless communities and people around. And so from
That's
there,
dope.
man, once I became a Lunel chef and went on Cutthroat Kitchen, I won Cutthroat Kitchen. Then I started to get booked for all these different things. And, it would be like, hey, this person wants you to do their event. This person wants you to do their event. And so, like, that's really how it really did happen. But the whole time, I just was happy that I was doing what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? And I knew, like, let's not be stupid. I feel that the more people that know what I do, and they acknowledge me for what I do, then, this would only help me grow the brand of Chef Stu and put it out there. But as after it's all said and done now, you know what I'm saying, I'm really realizing that the responsibility that comes with the celebrityism part of it. And
Is
so
that a
that's
word,
something that
celebrityism?
it really is a little bit.
It's a word now.
It's a word now, you know what I'm saying? And so there's some things that I was being too cool. I didn't even understand how, after the fact, because it went from you know, me not really being a famous person. You know what I'm saying? Almost
Yeah.
majority of the pictures that I took, it was almost like, oh, that's Gabrielle Union. Who's that guy? Oh, that's Shaquille O'Neal. Who's that guy? Oh, that's Desmond. Who's this guy? So it's almost like nobody knew who the hell I was. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And then eventually it went to people knowing who I was. And then
Nice.
that's where, I had to learn the rules that came along with it, because then I seen how, people do try to take advantage of you, and people do try to piggyback off your name, and people do try to, get something for nothing, and, just
Yeah.
all the stuff that comes along with that. But that's something that I just learned not too long ago. But the whole time I've been in the driver's seat. So it's like, if you're the one driving the car, you feel like you're in control of it to a certain extent. So you like, I'm only doing what I really want to do. I don't look at it like the passenger looks at it to be like, they can kind of dictate and feel a little different because they outside looking in versus you being the one that's actually doing it. So to me, I never stopped to have that moment to really say, wow, like it became normal for me. And I guess that after a while, not to sound unappreciative, but like it became normal. Like everybody was like, "Who was that next person?" I'm like, "Man, people call my phone every day." Like, you know what I'm saying? And who you cooked for yesterday? I'm like, "Oh, I was with such and such the other day." You know, I just did Dame Dash movie, and I just hung out with this person, and I just catered, this thing. And so it was like, to me, it was like part of my job. I didn't look at it like everybody else looked at it, and it took me a
Right.
minute to actually look at it like everybody else look at it. And I'm saying, damn, I probably should have been looking at it like this.
Hey man, let me tell you, man, I'm so proud of you, man. Brother to brother, I'm proud of you, man.
Thank
Look,
you.
I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I was super excited that I had the opportunity to interview a celebrity chef. Now I'm even more inspired that I got the opportunity to
Yeah,
interview a real, genuine, grounded man, brother. That's real, man. That's
no, I
from the bottom
appreciate
of
it.
my
I'm
heart.
down to earth, bro. Trust me, man. I'm down to earth, man. Honestly, I really am. I really um I really am. I'm really a normal guy who's just been blessed to do some things. I didn't study to become this. I didn't, this wasn't like the trick up my sleeve. And so that it's a learning process. But honestly,
Yes.
I'm glad that you can feel the authenticness that comes off of it, because I don't talk much on my Instagram. So you see the picture, you see the smile, and then it's almost like the imagination runs wild. You have absolutely
Yeah.
no clue. But like these moments right here is the real deal stew, to be like, this dude is crazy. He's funny. You know what I'm saying? He tell it like it
Yo,
is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, real talk. Yo, if y'all just tuning in to the JusB show, I want y'all to meet my boy Chef Stu, man. Yes, he is a celebrity chef. Most importantly, he's a genuine brother, man. He's a genuine, down-to-earth, humble man, and I respect that, man. Let me say this. Chef Stu, he still continues to pursue his dream of giving back to his community. He started a nonprofit organization based in Baltimore, Maryland called the Transition Kitchen Foundation. Brother, Chef Stu, what is the purpose of the Transition Kitchen? Tell us about that.
Well, I grew up, you know what I'm saying, kind of in a poverty-stricken city, Baltimore City. I mean, y'all seen The Wire, y'all seen some shows about Baltimore. And so like outside looking in, they like, man, Baltimore that crazy? I'm like, no, it's crazier. They just gave you a glimpse of Baltimore. And so growing up, honestly, um, there really wasn't a lot of people who made major moves. I mean, if somebody really had their stuff together, they hustled. I mean, like, we didn't have a bunch of people. I mean, we had Sam Cassell go, you know what I'm saying? We had a couple of people pass through Baltimore, Mario, Drew Hill, Ruffin. So, like, there was some success stories. I ain't taking nothing from nobody. But, like, overall, when you think of cities like New York and you think about cities like LA, I mean, every 15 minutes, somebody really makes it out, become a multimillionaire, and are able to go and just basically reach abundance. And so in Baltimore, that measuring stick is real short. So we didn't have that in Baltimore. And so I was living in San Francisco at the time when the Freddie Gray riots went down, and I was sitting on the couch, man, watching the city burn. Everybody just was going off, and so I just started to watch all the people point out the problems, and this is the reason why it's like that, and this is the reason why it's like that. And so like I, again, knew that, well, wait a minute, like I came out of Baltimore and I was able to do some major things, right? But like the chef world wasn't so appealing inside of the eyes of the young people, right? So it's like
Right.
they didn't get to see me glorified. And I've never tried to sell the lifestyle of the celebrity chef to, in a sense, draw a fan base, because I could easily, be on the ground with the rollie. I could be jumping out of the Maserati. I could be doing all of the stuff that would make you say, wait a minute, yo, what's up with that, right? And so
Right.
I felt like I wanted to show and highlight a career choice that literally emulates the same people that y'all looking up to. Because if it's all about dressing nice, chefs dress nice. It's all about the nice car. You can get a nice car. If it's all about the nice house, the private jets, the lifestyle that comes along with the chef, it's a lot better than what people think. So
Right.
I could have easily pointed the finger and joined into the crowd of what's wrong and what we should do and all of this other stuff. But I figured, you know what I'm saying, let's stop talking about the problem and let's start creating solutions. Now, I know that
Yes.
this might not work for every single person on earth, but let me tell y'all how I grew up in the city of Baltimore. My father died of AIDS. I know that whole drug life all too well. I know what it is to lose your homeboys. I know what it is to feel hopeless. I know what it is to feel like you ain't gonna be able to make it out. I know how it feels to basically you want to be able to take care of your family and take care of your children and date a pretty girl and be able to do all of the same stuff, right? And for a while, I didn't know how I was going to do it. And when I
Right.
was able to attain the success that I did within the culinary arts industry, uh, and a little token of my appreciation to the higher power who sits high and looks low, I said, you know what? Maybe you'll allow for all this to happen to me so that I could be a vessel and try to basically inspire somebody else to do the same exact thing, if not go further. So instead of me holding on to this knowledge, because you already know part of how we talk is you don't really want to share your secrets. You don't really want
Right.
to help nobody. You're not really supposed to tell your right hand what your left hand doing. You're supposed to keep all of this to yourself. And you know what I'm saying? And I said to myself, and if God would have had called me home prior to me starting the Transition Kitchen Foundation, nobody would have known any of what I knew. Like, how smart is that? Like, unless I write a book, because we wait for the person to die, or we wait for the person to get at the all-time low, and then here comes the backstory, right? Like, the backstory never comes in the moment of the triumph. The
Right.
backstory always comes when it's 30 years later. Some of these tactics and some of these methods ain't even gonna work no more. So it's
Right.
like, how was this game? How was this? And like, we compare ourselves to all these different, they do it like this, and look how they do it, and look how they do it. And so I just wanted to start my own little trend and say, hey, can we make sharing knowledge cool again? Can we make
Yes.
helping our brothers a cool thing to do? Can we,
Yes.
like, I mean, honestly, people steal my secrets and my ideas all the time. Honestly, it happens all the time, right? And so, yes, there is times I'm like, dang, I really probably shouldn't have said that. But then it's almost like, you know what? Maybe they can take it and go and do what I couldn't do with it and let them have it. You understand what I'm saying? So that if they on the right path with it, cool. Maybe they can go and inspire somebody else to do what they need to do. And that's exactly what the Transition Kitchen was. That was a way to say, look, not not let me tell you what's wrong. Let me point out your let me just show you instead of telling you how to
Right.
get to the top. Because I can tell you go to culinary school and you can do this, you can do that. Or I can collectively put together a community-based initiative where we build out a commercial kitchen, where we hire trained people that's in the culinary arts industry, where we put together a curriculum, where we can show people what they need. I mean, again, you heard the story. I started out as a kid with the basics. I went and got some culinary arts training. Then I started working at all of these establishments. So I am full of knowledge of the industry, from fine dining, fast food, to catering, to business dining, to sports entertainment, to all of these different variations of the food industry that I've been able to be in. That it's just like walking around with all the answers. And I'm like, some of these people need help. So I devised a
Yes.
program where I could try to show people, listen, man, I don't know if this is going to be a big difference for you, but it was a big difference for me. Here's an opportunity for you to take some information and some knowledge, take yourself to the top with this, and run with it. So Transition Kitchen was no more than that. It has become one of the most fulfilling accomplishments that I've had, outside of celebrities, outside of winning television shows, outside of being a TV personality. I had a guy come in who was he was in trouble with the law, and so we kind of wrote to the judge and we told the judge about the program and see if we was able to get him to come and work with us. The judge released him to us and allowed him to
Wow.
take the program. And so the guy takes the program, and then he ended up getting a job at Five Guys, and I think at Olive Garden or somewhere else, man. And so, like, his grandmother sent me a message one day and just said, listen, I never even met the lady personally. She just said, tell Chef Stu thank you, because he has turned my grandson around. And so
Nice.
I felt like, if nothing else, that little boy he's a young man now. He don't know how he inspired me because so many people at the time, I was living in California, I'm on Food Network, I'm cooking for celebrities, and then it's like, you about to go back to Baltimore to do what? You can't help those people. Them people need to help themselves. You can't worry about other people. You need to worry about yourself. It ain't gonna work. They don't want it. They this, they that. It's a crazy city. It's all, like all of this stuff. And I still had to go with what I felt to be the right thing to do and at least attempt to try. And I
Right.
can't say that it has been a lot of challenges. I did miss out on some other opportunities, I feel like, but at the end of the day, getting those emails from those students, and then from there, other students would take the program, and it's the same thing. But that's what Transition Kitchen is. So, if you are listening and you want to get some information about the Transition Kitchen Foundation, I just seen my assistant George Bostic jumped in on there. What's up, GB? He's dropping links and stuff for you guys
He
to go
dropping
and
links
check
after
out.
link after link.
There you go. I see him. I see him, GB. What's up? We in this together, brother. But he definitely is letting y'all know where y'all can go at to find out some information about the Transition Kitchen Foundation. It's a plug and play program. So I now, at this point that I've worked out the kinks, I'm able to take this to multiple cities. And honestly, I'm making moves for this program in Las Vegas.
Hey.
NAACP. Yeah, so shouts out to President Roxanne McCoy. Thank you for all your help. Shouts out to the United Way. So I've been rubbing shoulders with them, and then COVID came, slowed the whole train down. But
Yes.
Transition Kitchen will be in Las Vegas real soon, I promise you.
That's hot. That's hood. All for all the viewers, if y'all paying attention, which if you're watching, you got to be kind of paying attention. You know how we do it. But listen, if you know anybody that can use his services, that can be in this into the Transition Kitchen, please reach out to my boy Chef Stu, and allow this man to provide you with the help that you need to transition into a better lifestyle. I respect that, man. I have a lot of homies that's been locked up, and I know a lot of kids that's just lost, bro. They just in these streets, they don't know what to do. To be able to have a program to put you back in the right limelight, the right limelight. You can be in the negative limelight, but to be in the positive limelight is harder than what people think. To continue on that positive path is definitely a challenge, but it's definitely worth it at the end of the tunnel. But there is light, and Chef Stu helps provide that specific light to help turn these lives around, man. I congratulate you for being for being a black man out here helping other people, brother. Like that's very important to me. I'm super excited, admired, and I'm inspired by everything that you're doing, man. But I gotta ask you, man, on this podcast, on the flyer, you got on this jacket. It got all kind of writing on it. Look like a bunch of signatures, man. What's that about?
So again, me just honestly, man, I'm like a nerd when it comes to just keeping the facts because what y'all call it now? Well, not you, but they call it receipts, right? Like
Okay.
everybody wants the receipts. Like you did what? Yeah, right. Nobody believe. But when I started to do my little show in the house, it was kind of like a little play off of what's that? Tigger in the Basement. I think he used to have people sign stuff. And
Oh
then,
yeah.
the Apollo, you got the Apollo, everybody rubs the little oak tree that was in front of the Apollo prior.
Yeah.
And so that was the same thing for me, just honestly, just saying, you know what, every celebrity guest that comes on my show or every celebrity guest that allows for me, or celebrity client, I should say, that allows for me to cook for them, I just would like to just document it and put it onto my jacket. And so to be honest with you, I had no idea that it would turn into that because now when people see the jacket, it reminds them of NASCAR. Like, how the NASCAR guy, like, all
Yeah, it do.
That's like my NASCAR right now. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that's basically what that was, man. Every time I cooked for somebody, and I would keep the jacket with me, and I would, hey, you know what I'm saying? Could y'all sign my jacket? That basically would just be like a keepsake to me, so that I have times where I reflect, and like when I put that jacket on, sometimes it's like it's the reminder. It's like,
Yeah.
damn, you know what? I can look at that jacket and remember oh damn, that's the day, you know what I'm saying, I catered Bobby Valentino's listening party, or oh man, that's
Nice.
the day that I cooked for Angie Stone, or that's the day I cooked for Miss Deb or Mook B100. I mean, like, it's stories. It's basically my life, you know what I'm saying, in the culinary arts world with all of the celebrity people. So that's what that jacket is. Matter of fact, I got two of them because it got to a point where it was no more room on a white
It's
jacket, so I
full.
had to yeah, I had to retire the white jacket, and then I brought out the green jacket. So I actually got a
Okay.
whole nother jacket with all the signatures on them as well. And again, that's just throughout my journey, man. Different people that I've had a chance to cook for, because I knew at some point the story was going to get big, especially with your help today. Which again, I'm super appreciative, because some stories the media don't feel is media worthy, so we got to go
Right.
to the other outlets so that they can get some of the information that they haven't been able to get. And then when they find out, they like, man, we should have already knew all of this. So
Yo, for real.
please don't forget to share. Like, I mean, we need some more positive news floating throughout the atmosphere so that people can get affiliated with some of this stuff, because honestly, like, I'm not on no Michael Jackson type thing, but we know everything about Michael Jackson. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, let's make sure that we help some other people's stories get out there so that we don't keep recycling the same 5 or 6 people, and then now we think that we don't have anybody else that has been super successful
I
within their
agree.
own career choice. So like, let's make sure we do that. But that's what the jacket is about, man. Every celebrity I ever cooked for, did an event for, signed a jacket to go down in the history books of Chef Stew, and that jacket will be on display at my restaurant when God gives me the
Nice,
keys.
nice, man. I definitely want to come to your restaurant, man. If I can ever afford to have you cook for me personally, brother, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna be like, Chef Stu, brother, it's JusB, man. I need you to come cook for. I need the hamburger. I need them kebabs. You be making them little sticks. Woo! They be looking
Yo,
good,
no,
man.
honestly, you know what? That's really I'm glad you said that, because again, this just gave me a chance to clear the air. Yes, I am a celebrity chef, and chances is I do want $10,000 or better when I show up at your event. But the truth of it is, I did design a menu called Stew Sticks, a fast casual concept called Stew Sticks. And so Stew Sticks, to me, again, if you're getting a little bit from me, is like, I didn't forget about the guy next door. Like, I remember me being the guy next door. And so now
Right.
that I own the house, I still want to look out for the guy next door. And so my way to do that was, I wanted as many people to be able to try the food as possible, because as I catapult in my career, then you're right. There's people who feel like, I want to try his food, but I probably don't have the $5,000 to cater him because I do big events. But Stew Sticks was my way to say, hey, don't write me off just yet. I got a concept that is affordable for you. And so Stew Sticks is that, exactly that. It's priced to where though it's affordable. It's fun, it's friendly, it's fresh, it's family oriented. It gives people an opportunity to actually try the food. So Stew Sticks is
Awesome.
available for catering, but it's just going after a lower price point so that people can actually try the food. So you might can hire me depending. Now, mind you, I do travel. So if you're trying to get me to come to these different cities, yeah, you got to be ready to eat some plane tickets and some lifts and some Ubers and
Gotta
some
compensate,
Airbnbs.
player.
They got some stuff to come up off of. But right now, Las Vegas, if you want it, I'm in your city. You can get the Stew Sticks. Don't you worry about it. I do some wonders for you guys and drop some stuff off and make sure that y'all get the food. But I got a big surprise for Las Vegas coming up, and I'm gonna put it out there into the ether. I'm in negotiations right now for a takeover restaurant here in Las Vegas. And
Okay.
so if everything goes according to plan, I'm gonna have an address for y'all to pull up on me and get them sticks. Meet your boy, take your pictures. I know y'all want the picture. I don't mind. And let's go, man. And I need some help. Like, honestly, I'm not ashamed to say it. I am nothing without y'all. So I need y'all. I need Las Vegas to embrace me, man. Honestly, I do. I know all the other chefs got their names in lights and on the strips and in the casino, and that's my goal too. But at the end of the day, I need the city to get excited about Chef Stew. I need you guys to come in and absorb what I got going on and push me, because I deserve to be up there like everybody else.
Yeah, 100. You definitely do, brother, man. Make sure you guys go and follow my boy Chef Stu. I believe it's Chef Stu on all social media platforms. Chef Stu sticks. It's all kind of stuff. Put in Chef Stu, you gonna find him. I promise you that. I definitely promise you that, man. Again, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on my show. Not even as a celebrity chef, brother, but as a man. Just as a good, genuine
Nah,
dude. I love that about you. This show, the purpose of this show is to expose any story, any foundation, transitions you got going on. I think we did a great job at doing that, man. And I always try to know the guests at their core because that's more relatable to me, in my personal opinion. I think we did that, man. So the way that we end the show, brother, is I always like to ask for one piece of advice that you would give to the people in the world, brother. You got as long as you want, man. One piece of advice, do that for me.
I'm filled with so many thought conditioners that I could go on forever. But I think that the most important thing that anybody needs to know is the fact that one must associate themselves with like-minded people. Now, this gets tricky a little bit because they say birds of a feather flock together, and so sometimes you can get caught up into the wrong crowd and kind of get blamed for doing some stuff that really probably ain't even what your forte is. But what I'm saying about a whole associate yourself with like-minded people, basketball players hang out with other basketball players, rappers pretty much hang out with rappers, chefs hang out with chefs. However, you can associate yourself with people that's not in the same career choice with you if they still have the same mindset that you have. Far too many people hang around people that really, truly don't actually do anything positive for you. It's like simple mathematics. Either a person adds to you or a person takes from you. So what I would suggest is you to basically pay attention to that barometer that's inside of your heart and inside of your mind and realize, does this person really make me feel good inside? Does this person really make me feel great about what I'm doing? And if the answer is no, stop holding on to them people, man. Honestly, like you gotta let certain people go. You got to get away from certain people. Some people just, whether they know it or not, they dream killers. Some people, whether they know it or not, uplift you and encourage you to go forward no matter what's going on. So I would just make sure that you are blessed to have those type of people around you. And I would be hopeful that you can come to terms with having to let certain people go. Letting them go doesn't mean you hate them. Letting them go doesn't mean you have no love for them. Letting them go doesn't mean that genuinely they're not cool people, but letting them go is getting them people away from you so that you can get around the right people that can actually help push. Now, again, it's one of those things where there's a quote that says that any contribution, any any friendship can easily be measured by the contributions that they have towards you obtaining your goals. Those who don't help you hurt you. And kind of sad but true. I had to learn some of the stuff the hard way. Try to keep people around that I knew wasn't no good, but I felt like eventually they would get it, and so I kept them around. And more times than I would admit, they had a knife in my back. And so save yourself a little heartache. You know what I'm saying? And in due time, those people may change their viewpoint, come back, and y'all be cool. If not, then you did the right thing. But this could be brothers, sisters, cousins, mothers, fathers, best friends, mentors, teachers. Just be wary of the people that you hang out with because believe it or not, they will have something to do with your success one way or another.
That was beautiful, brother. That just inspired me. I got the chills right now. I was literally, I just made a few posts saying that exact thing, man. We have to learn to let go of the people that's draining you, whether you realized it up front or not. Eventually, you have to realize it. You have to recognize it, and you have to let them go, y'all. We've pretty much come to the end of this episode. It was a blessing to have you again.
Yes,
I
bro.
want to do a second interview as soon as you get that restaurant open because it's going to be popping, man. I believe you're going to do it, man. And y'all know how I do it. Let me give my pieces of advice. This is how we do it, man. It's three of them. Y'all already know how I go. I want you to smile, laugh, and definitely motivate somebody every single day, man. Number two, inspire one, to inspire all. If we can do that, everybody eventually will have some inspiration in their life. And last but not least, you know how we do. It's JusB, y'all.